Look, we all know digital tools are a huge part of modern life, especially in our schools. But as we've woven them into the classroom, a mountain of evidence is starting to show that one device, in particular, might be less of a tool and more of a major roadblock to learning. So let's really dig into what the data says.
So what's this? Just a number. -15 points. What on earth could that mean? Well, it turns out it represents a massive challenge that's happening in classrooms all around the globe.
That's what it is. Students who say they're distracted by digital devices during math class score an average of 15 points lower than their friends who aren't. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that's like losing 3/4 of an entire school year's worth of progress. This is definitely not a small problem. And we're not just talking about a few students staring out the window. The PISA data shows this is a huge, widespread issue. It's something that affects classrooms pretty much everywhere, and the distraction is coming from all sides.
You know, what's really wild here is that the distraction is basically a feedback loop. Across all the OECD countries, a massive 65% of students report getting distracted by their own device. But here's the kicker. Almost as many, 59%, say they're distracted by the phones of the students sitting right next to them. So your focus isn't just fighting your own phone, it's fighting every other phone in the room, too.
And this quote really tells you why it's such an uphill battle. It's just about impossible to stay focused when you're dealing with this constant digital downpour. A median of 273 notifications a day. Just think about that. How is a teenager's brain, which by the way is still developing the part that controls impulses, supposed to compete with that?
But you know, the impact here goes way beyond just one student losing focus. When we rely on personal phones in the classroom, we create these deep, systemic problems. It's not just about distraction, it's about a huge loss of efficiency for absolutely everyone involved.
I mean, just imagine you're a teacher for a second. If you design a lesson that relies on students' personal phones, you're not planning for one device. You're trying to plan for dozens. You've got different iPhones, different Androids, different operating systems, screen sizes. It's a total logistical nightmare. Things inevitably break, and suddenly the teacher's job is less about teaching history and more about being the IT guy. A standardized platform, like a computer lab, just gets rid of all that chaos.
And it's not just the logistics. It's about having the right tool for the job. You wouldn't build a house with only a screwdriver, right? A smartphone is amazing for consuming content and sending quick messages. But for doing deep, creative work, like writing a paper or analyzing data or coding, it's just not built for that. A computer with a real keyboard and a big screen is just a far better tool for building the kinds of complex skills students really need.
Okay, so we've talked about distraction and inefficiency. But this next part, this is where it gets really serious. Because when we make personal phones the center of education, we're not just picking a bad tool, we are actively making the system unfair. We're baking inequity right into the classroom.
You know, when we hear the term digital divide, we usually think of someone who has a device versus someone who doesn't. But it's so much more nuanced than that. It's really about the quality of the access. A brand new iPhone with an unlimited data plan is a completely different world from a 5-year-old hand-me-down that can barely connect to the Wi-Fi. It's a huge difference. And this is where that unfairness becomes painfully obvious. A phone-based assignment can easily stop being a test of a student's knowledge and start being a test to their family's income. Is it a level playing field if one student is on a lightning-fast new phone and another's keeps crashing? No way. School-provided tools, like a computer lab, completely level that field. Everybody gets the same tool, and the focus goes right back to where it should be, on learning.
So with all that in mind, take a look at this number, 28%. What do you think this could possibly represent?
Yeah, that's the percentage of school-age kids in the US who reported having no internet access, not at home and not at school. For them, an assignment that requires a phone and data isn't just hard, it's literally impossible. This is a huge wake-up call that schools have to be the place where we bridge the digital divide, not make it even wider.
So what do we do about all this? Well, the answer isn't to be anti-technology. Not at all. It's about being smarter, fairer, and a heck of a lot more effective in how we use it. It's about a strategic, pro-learning evolution.
The way forward is actually pretty clear. It breaks down into 3 basic steps. First, we have to resource our schools properly with standard tools that everyone can access. Second, we have to design the curriculum to teach timeless skills like computational thinking, not just how to tap buttons on the trendy app of the week. And third, we have to support our teachers so they can spend their time actually teaching, not troubleshooting. So when you put it all together, it becomes clear that taking personal phones out of the center of the learning equation isn't about moving backward.
It's about taking a very deliberate, very necessary step forward into a more focused, fair, and efficient way of learning.
And let's be absolutely crystal clear about this. This is not and has never been an argument against technology. It's an argument for using technology in the smartest way possible by creating structured, fair environments where the tech actually serves the learning instead of undermining it.
From the lower test scores to the distraction to the massive equity gaps, the data is telling a very clear story. We have a blueprint for a much better, smarter, and fairer way to use technology in our schools. The only real question left is, what are we waiting for?